All right, folks. We're going to take a look at Noah's archive. That is Hisame Kurosawa's website, found at puroprogramtranslations.blogspot.com. She does a wonderful job translating all things from Japanese and Pro Wrestling Noah to English for us. She's titled this article Noah's Cheap Lie Ahead of the Junior Tag Decider Match. Susumu cuts down Kotoge and Yohei. There's Kotoge in the pink hair and Yohei in the blonde. They'll be one side of the ring in the tag team together against Susumu and Hayata. These two teams face off for those titles there in the middle of the table. The GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship stripped from Susumu and his former partner when his partner was injured, declared vacant, and now these two teams face off for those titles. This Wednesday, February 23rd, on Pro Wrestling Noah's show that will be on around 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be watching it live and bringing you all the coverage of it that evening on Mount Ararat Podcast. Let's take a look at what was said here. Again, thanks to Hisami. Susumu speaks up first. There, Susumu in the suit in the long black hair. After the belt was taken, so they were stripped of their titles, I thought there was no connection to the belt. But being there is a connection. Here we will catch Stinger, our three people now, but I want to gain momentum. So basically, what Susumu is saying here is that he wants those titles back, okay? His faction, Stinger, really want those junior tag titles in their group, and teaming with Hayata is going to do that for him. He says they will catch them, they will bring them in. And Hayata, right there, the gentleman beside Susumu there, um, doesn't look too impressed with his opponents. But Yohei, who is a former partner of Hayata going back some time, he has something to say. He says, as you know, perhaps I've arrived here due to various things. To begin with, I think it's a situation in which I have to prove that I am in the Noah Junior regulars by grabbing these tag belts. First of all, I want to concentrate on taking these belts. So Yohei, right there in the blonde hair, not him, the last gentleman they showed in the blonde hair, was jumped out of, beaten out of Perros del Mal, the Dirty Dogs, if you will, the Mexican faction that have taken hold, the biggest bad guys, the biggest heels in pro wrestling Noah by far. He was beaten out of that faction, and that's how Yohei's saying, perhaps I've arrived here due to various things, but he wants to prove himself by winning those junior tag titles. His partner, Kotoge, says, if my memory is correct, I think this is the first time I've teamed up with Yohei since I joined Noah. It's surprising to me, too. However, in Shimada the other day when we teamed, I didn't feel like it was for the first time. There was a great response. It was really easy for me to do, and I thought we had similar sensibilities. I think I can do this with a good vibe. Yohei's bright personality is a huge weapon for the Noah Juniors, and I hope this quality can be brought out full throttle. I'd like to bring out my own momentum at full throttle and be sure to show it to the customers in Nagoya and wear the junior tag belts. That's a long way of Kotogi saying he's excited to be teaming with Yohei, that he feels that they have similar sensibilities, meaning he feels strongly that they work together well and communicate well in the ring, and that they want to bring those tag titles to the Noah Junior regulars. Question is asked at this press conference: what kind of teamwork can you do with Hayata? And that is to Susumu, obviously, because that is Hayata's partner. And Susumu says, as to what kind of things can we do? I don't think there's any problem because our past roots are the same. So Susumu's saying, that they're in Stinger, that they are partners, that they've been around each other a lot, and he doesn't see why they should have any trouble being a solid tag team. Susumu, what is Hayata's presence to you? Susumu says, there's no problem from the actual results. So if this tag has a flaw, then I guess it's me. That's it. So that's Susumu being kind of humble there, saying that there is no problem. And once again, answering this question, there's no problem with this team. We get results, we get things done. But if you want a flaw, if you need a flaw, then I guess you can say I'm the flaw. It's just a way of keeping any kind of heat or any kind of issue off of his partner. Kind of smart, if you ask me. And the question is asked of Yohei, what are your thoughts on fighting with Kotoge? Yohei, what do you think about tag teaming with Kotoge? And Yohei says, like Kotoge said earlier, I've never teamed up with him since I came to Noah. I don't think it's happened in the past, even before entering Noah and even after entering. I was in close range and fighting about something or another, and we have been fighting a lot, so I don't think it feels like we have tagged for the first time. It felt that it was amazing that this is a new teamwork that will connect to the future and that has an effect. It's just starting, so I think its determined team will accomplish more and more, so please look forward to it. Yohei's saying they've been around each other a lot, they fought against each other a lot, they've been in the ring a lot together and around each other, so he really feels like they're gelling well. Really feels like it's going to work. And even though they're just starting, they're very determined, and winning those belts would go a long way in answering that question. Kotoge answers then, I don't know what it is going to be. I don't know what our tag team's going to be, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really excited about tagging. I don't know why, but I think the possibilities are crazy. So Kotoge's saying the possibilities are crazy, meaning he thinks they can do huge things as a tag team. Him and Yohei. We'll have to see here. Now, a question comes up, and this is very interesting. Hajime Ohara has made the criticism that your partner has switched too much, that he's changed partners a lot. Kotoge says, I have something to say about my own personal beliefs. When the topic of belief comes out, I don't want to have any regrets. And I think that when my emotions start to run, I want to go with them. Otherwise, I don't think it will be interesting. You shouldn't always protect your emotions. I'm a pro wrestler. I have to have the feeling of pushing and making it interesting. I had mixed feelings about his brief comment, meaning Kajimi Ohara's brief comment about going to Congo, both in the ring and after I got home. But he said he had a belief. He said if I had a belief, sorry about that, but he said he had a belief. He said if he had a belief, and so if I have a strong belief, and so does the person in question, I don't think I have anything to say. Okay, let's try to wrap our heads around that. You can clearly tell that Kotogi is upset by his former friend and partner, Hajime Ohara, leaving the Noah Junior regulars for Congo. Okay, Ohara has plainly stated the reason he did it is that he felt like Kotogi had abandoned their team to instantly hook up with Yohei once he was jumped and beaten out of Paros del Sol. I mean, he just felt like, okay, you're going to embrace this guy who has betrayed me. He betrayed Kojimi Ohara in the past, and he's not very happy about that. So why should I stay with the Noah Junior regular? I'll just go to Congo because I have a belief. And Congo, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, are all about a belief. Their belief is strong. And if you agree with how they look at wrestling, then you should join them. And that's what Ohara does here. Kotogi clearly is upset and annoyed by it and just says he has his own belief and he has to go with his emotions. And his emotions apparently is teaming with Yohei, even if it means upsetting his former partner, Ohara. So I don't think Kotogi comes out of this looking real good. And we're going to get to that here in a second. Okay, Yohei then jumps in and says, I may be here somehow because I was thrown out or left. I mean, that is why he's there. But originally, no matter where I am or what team I am on, I've always had the desire to raise the Noah Juniors there. Because of that feeling, I think that entering the Noah Junior regulars like this is because of fate. That aside, I want to make a big explosion and make it really exciting. Now, Yohei's saying that even when he was in the heel faction, even when he was a dirty dog, if you will, no matter what he's been doing or where he's worked or who he's teamed with, he's always wanted to raise the profiles of the Noah Junior heavyweights. And so coming in to the Noah Junior regulars is a natural fit. It seems like fate to him. Then a question comes up in the press conference. In April, there is a Susumu Hall only for Noah Juniors. Maybe next you will want to bring the belt. So the questionnaire is saying, hey, when this April Susumu Hall show for Noah Juniors comes up, you guys will want to have the tag team titles. So Susumu jumps on that and says, first of all, get it. Meaning, first of all, understand this. This match in Nagoya is important. The match on Wednesday, the 23rd here, in just a few days. I've listened a little, but this is very cheap lie. There's the title of your article from Hisame. This is a very cheap lie, Susumu says. Kotoge looks like a great guy, but he approaches weak people and lures them into his group. Actually, this is a method used by bad guys. Teamwork okay? As Ohara says, your partner changes constantly. I wonder if this tag will be okay. Folks, this is a deep comment, and I really like it. Susumu lays it on the line here. He tells us the match is important, very important. Of course it is. It's for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles. And he said, "Look, I've been listening to this, but it's a downright lie. The things that Kotoge says, a cheap lie, because he approaches weak people, people in weak positions, like Yohei being beaten out of his former faction, and recruits them. And he says this is the kind of thing bad people do." Now, we're not just talking about heels and bad guys in wrestling. We're talking about bad people in general, cult leaders, if you will. He didn't use that term. I'm using it. But this is a method used by bad guys. Is their teamwork okay? As your former partner O'Hara says, Yohei changes partners constantly, changes factions, changes partners. I wonder if your team is actually going to be okay. And this is quickly finished up with Kotoge jumping in short and bluntly saying, "It is okay." So to me, this part of the press conference shows you that Kotoge, while happy to be teaming with his new partner Yohei, um, he's on the edge. You know, he lost his friend O'Hara when he went to Congo and blamed it on Kotoge. And it's clearly, I mean, you're teaming with a guy who all of a sudden rescues another guy from his former faction and now wants to team with him. What are you going to think of that? O'Hara doesn't like that, goes to Congo, and Susumu's just pointing this stuff out to get in their heads, and I think it's worked. This match is going to be great. I can't wait to see it. I've already droned on for over 11 minutes. I want to save most of this stuff for the podcast, Mount Ararat, which will be out this Wednesday. I want to make it earlier this time. It didn't get out last time till around 11 p.m. because YouTube took forever, or my Comcast, which I have the highest package, but it took forever to upload. Uh, Let me know what you think about this, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I thought about doing a little bit more of it. We'll have to wait and see. But again, thank you, Hisame Kurosawa, for Noah's Archive, puroprogramtranslations.blogspot.com. And I'll bring more of this to you as we go along. And I'll see you on episode 2 of Mount Ararat Podcast on Wednesday.